What's up everyone? Welcome back to Beyond AR TV. Let's talk about Billie Joe Armstrong. BJA, Billie Joe, he's got new music out in the world. Billie Joe Armstrong of Green Day fame, punk rock is in the man's DNA in his vein. The guy that never ages because he somehow found the fountain of punk rock youth. That's the guy we're talking about today. You guys know that I love me some Green Day, my favorite band, and even though in recent years I found some stuff that I don't like as much, I just don't come back to as much anymore. Projects like Uno, some of the stuff from like Dos and Trey, but I really like the trilogy overall, honestly. Some of their earlier stuff I've gotten tired of over the years, but I found myself coming back to it a little bit more here and there as I've, gotten untired of it, if that's a thing. What I'm getting at is that maybe I'm not as head over heels as I was at one point in my life. And even though I was excited for this new project that Billie was teasing, I wasn't exactly sure what it was gonna be, so I just kinda held my reservations at the door. And it turns out that the Longshot is the name of this band, and the upcoming album is gonna be called Love is for Losers. No release date on that yet because Billie Joe likes taking the cheese and dangling it over the rat cage, but never tossing it in. However, he did give us 3 new songs, aka the Longshot EP, which is what we're talking about today. And I know, based on the title of this video, you're wondering, oh, John! Did you betray Billie? Well, for beginners, there's 3 songs here. Love is for Losers was the first one that got the radio premiere, and I held off. I was initially gonna do a track review, but I was like, the quality from the radio rip, it sounds like shit. I don't just wanna review this. I feel like it's gonna get a release on Apple Music, Spotify, iTunes at the very least, and of course it did, and I'm glad I held off because obviously 2 other songs as well, a little EP, a little trilogy of songs. Love is for Losers, Taxi Driver, Chasing a Ghost. Those are the 3 that appear here, and they are definitely kind of in the rock and roll, punk rock spirit, just kind of chugging along, and it's Billie Joe Armstrong being Billie Joe, and honestly, it feels kind of like a snoozer to me. Listen, I know that Green Day fans are going to be happy, Longshot fans, Billie Joe Armstrong fans in general. It just kind of feels basic and very limited to me as I listen through this. I think that Love is for Losers and Chasing a Ghost are probably the better 2, with Taxi Driver just feeling so boring to me, just talking about this typical, like, oh, let's get in the car and drive away to somewhere, and I don't know. I heard it a lot on the trilogy. I've heard it plenty from Billie and other bands on the punk scene and just rock in general, and it just feels a little bit played out to me. Am I the only one? Love is for Losers is really catchy though. I like the chorus on that one. Hey kid, love is for losers. Nice little guitar part in there as well, and they've got the guys from Prima Donna doing that and the drums. Jeff Matika's on the bass, and Jeff Matika, you know him from the Jeff Matika Show, obviously, the best internet show out there. When you can hear his bass lines coming through, they're really nice, and I think that he really gets a chance to shine on Chasing a Ghost. But some of the hand claps that are used throughout here, some of the drum patterns, some of the really run-of-the-mill guitar lines, and just lyrical content that is dime a dozen, at least in my opinion. It just feels like another project coming out for the sake of him having these B-sides that maybe he couldn't put out for Green Day, or they didn't have a home, so they're finding a home with the Longshot. If you're wondering, what was I hoping for from the Longshot? Well, honestly, I was hoping for something maybe a little bit different, because honestly, RevRad, Revolution Radio, that is, scratched that itch for me, and that was back in 2016. They had a little bit of a Western vibe going on some of those tracks, and they combined that with punk rock and some really big anthems, and this just kind of feels like a step back into the trilogy, which wasn't really forward thinking. It's just kind of, cruising on rock and roll, which is fine if you're just looking for some nice blissful tunes to really just, I don't know, get you amped up or whatever the case might be, then you're probably gonna dig this completely, entirely, and I wouldn't blame you for that. But for me personally, just having so much Green Day music out there that I could dive into, and this doesn't exactly feel like it holds up. This is something where, once again, I feel like maybe this could have been on Demolicious, their demos album or whatever, and I listen to it occasionally, but it doesn't demand your attention, and that's unfortunate. I don't even think I'm gonna save any of these songs to my Spotify. The themes of growing older, wanting to get away, and just love being something that's misunderstood and not really knowing what it is to begin with, and thinking that it's for losers, it's all fine. It's nothing that I hate at all by any means. Don't get it wrong or twisted whatsoever. I don't really like this project. It's not for me. It's cruise control material, and it just feels like it's not really scratching below the surface whatsoever. It's Billie Joe Armstrong in his comfort zone, and while that's okay, it's the same reason I criticized the Breaking Benjamin album the other day. It plays it safe, It knows what it wants to do, and it does that, and the hardcore fans are going to be pleased, but me personally, not really as big on this whatsoever. I'm gonna give this a light 3 out of 5. I think that's generous because the tracks are catchy enough, they're well played, they're well crafted in general, and Billy sounds just fine here. It's just, once again, demo stuff, demo-worthy stuff, but I understand why this didn't make it to Green Day. Thanks so much for tuning into this video on the Longshot, the Green Day side project. Keep in mind, it's all just my opinion. Leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell as well so you get notifications if you want to see Green Day themed videos right over here or more right here. Socials in the description, and I'll see you soon on Beyond AR TV.